company was founded in 1790. The office was in Boston. They started by importing flour from England on sailing ships. They were located on Long Wharf, which when it was built originally, they said went out a half a mile into Boston Harbor. John Sands was a salesman there, and he was good enough, so they kept him, and then they hired his son, Benjamin Franklin Sands. I think when Benjamin Franklin Sands became a partner in the company, the name Sands came into it. Even though people were milling flour in the States, the English flour, I guess, was more refined. They were all packed in 196-pound barrels, and then the half barrel was 98 pounds. Then later on it changed into 100-pound bags of flour, but that's the way it began. George Wood was the advertising guy who went to a musical comedy of the day called King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. Came out of there and said, all these attributes that are related to the King Arthur story are perfect for what we think about our flour, because there's purity, there's strength, because we had higher protein. So let's call it King Arthur. We have King Arthur flour, we had Queen Guinevere cake flour, we have Sir Galahad, we had Sir Kay Clear, we had Merlin Magic donut mix at one time. My dad started with the company driving a big white truck that had a calliope, you know, the thing that they play at the carnivals. Boop, 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 boop. And he would go along the streets of New York like that. And later on, when I was in high school, I would drive it in parades. King Arthur came out with an unbleached flour and a high-protein flour. Our bag of King Arthur flour would produce a loaf of bread that rose that much higher. That commitment to the product quality is tremendous, and it is what's sustained us all along.
King Arthur moved to Vermont from Boston in 1978. The business for a long time had very few employees, at first just Frank and Brenna. The voice of King Arthur was established by Brenna long ago. She was on radio, you know, and she wrote the 200th anniversary cookbook in 1988. It came out in 1990.
Doing a cookbook turned out to be a much bigger project than I ever imagined.
Her tone was always friendly, warm. I'm going to teach you. We're going to do this together.
You know, I think about my great-grandmother. I have one of her recipes in there, and my granddaughters who are now baking. And it's a connection between two people who will never meet, yet this is a way for it to happen.
And in 1990, they got tired of sending bags of flour through the mail to our customers in Florida, basically, who went south for the winter.
They'd write and say, hey, when I moved down here, I bought a 25-pound bag of flour, but it's February and I'm out of it. Can you send me some flour? So we'd go down to the local supermarket, buy 20 bags of 10-pound bags or 5-pound bags of flour, wrap them in brown paper bags and send them out. And Brenna said, you know, we maybe should start a catalog.
Well, the catalog started very small, black and white, all homegrown. The point of the whole catalog was to send King Arthur flour to people around the country. Back when we were only in New England and New York, that was our presence in the grocery stores. So by doing the catalog, we got our flour out to the rest of the country. And not just to the people that had lived in New England, but suddenly people are saying, oh, let me try this King Arthur flour, it sounds good, you know.
The retail store never was intended. It evolved because people came to the door and said, I don't want to pay shipping. Can I just buy whatever I want here?
It was 1992 when we cordoned off a small portion of our warehouse with essentially bookshelves loaded with some of our products.
mean, there just was a lot of energy in that building at that point because, you know, the call center was still there and all the catalog stuff was there, and we hadn't built the other building, but we were working on designing that.
So we're in Camelot now, and that's the name we give to this wonderful 12-sided structure we built back right when we were looking at going ESOP. Maybe different than some other companies, we had actually been doing some of the open book management and participation before looking at ESOP, and it seemed to be natural after proving that we can act like owners to actually make us owners in fact by starting an ESOP. It all made sense.
Well, I came to King Arthur in December of '99, and we started the bakery in June of 2000. Governor Howard Dean came down. Berna was over there, and I was over here, and we had a bread breaking instead of a ribbon cutting, and it was really, really cool.
I mean, that's what I've liked about employee ownership. It's like a team. You can celebrate these things together, and that's a tremendous lift. It makes life worth living.
Maybe it was 1996 we had our first website. It was a purple castle, as I recall, with dragons. It was kind of for show, like, yeah, we're online, sure. Oh boy. It's just been a wild race from the late 90s till now to keep up with technology, to keep up with design. It's very challenging, I'd say, but I think we're doing a good job, as evidenced by the fact that we have won awards for our website.
I think we're doing our part to help demonstrate what corporations should be in the 21st century. There's a wonderful 200-plus year history of the company, and we want us to be successful for 200 or more years.